You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Pulling up to Mickey D's just for drinks? Oh yeah, that's me. Nothing extra, just perfection and a straw. Coming in hot for the coldest cups on the block. Because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
Mix things up with any size lemonade or sweet tea for $1.49. Perfect with our classic fries. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Genuinely thrilled to have a Miami Herald legend and icon in the building, Izzy Gutierrez. Also, Greg Cote in with us today on a Tuesday. Very excited to have all of this journalistic firepower in here. Juju and Jessica are here, and we begin with Greg Cote being infuriated at the United States men's gymnastics team.
Yeah. I mean...
Microphone. It's on.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Glad to be here.
Yes.
Infuriated me, maybe a little bit strong a word, but I'm watching last night, and I'm seeing the bear hugs, enthusiastic high fives, fist bump, bear hugs. They won bronze.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Look, I get it. I get it. The last time the U.S. men gymnasts won a medal of any kind, it was 2008. I know it's been a minute, but still, I thought it was a little bit overboard for bronze.
This is infuriating to me. As hard as these people work to get on a medal stand, and to not have the country be able to do it, and for you to not celebrate third place achievement because your American God-given entitlement is that it's got to be first place or bleep off.
Yeah, well, you're putting words in my mouth. I'm celebrating. I'm happy that they won bronze. Okay. You know, I'm going to watch them on the medal stand.
You should be happier, though. Just like you criticize their happiness for being too happy,
right.
You need to be happier about them winning bronze.
I love you legislating how happy I should be about something.
I love you legislating how happy they should be about something.
Right.
Greg, you are the king of nostalgia, right? What was the old address? 1440?
Yeah.
So
still is.
So to me, this hurts my heart to hear you say this, because this brings me back to when I was 7 years old in 1984. Man, I dated myself. 1984 with my sister, and we're watching Mary Lou Retton, and that was just a seminal moment for me as a sports fan. And this one yesterday, in the middle of the day, a bunch of kids out of school probably watching that. Like, that's one of those that might stick for a while, whether it's gold, silver, or bronze.
The big difference is in 84, Mary Lou won the gold. The men's team won the gold. That's some of the best gymnastics we have ever seen, ever, all time. Also the best Olympic Games of all time. Greg is right. These Olympians are setting a bad example for our kids. No one celebrates third place. You don't do it.
What are you talking? Yes, they do.
What?
Everyone celebrates when you get a medal in the Olympics.
Right.
What? It's a
listen,
team event. It's points-based.
In team tournaments,
they didn't play for it.
You have the top seed versus the second seed, and then you have, the third seed play the fourth seed for a consolation game for third, for the bronze medal, essentially.
Let me tell you how it works, okay? Christopher and I are doing the Father-Son Olympics on the Greg Cote Show podcast, okay? And in the last event, I got my ass kicked in marshmallow expectoration, okay? I'm not celebrating second place. I'm pissed at myself for not winning, okay? You celebrate optimum celebration, like I saw last night, should be reserved for gold medal winners. If I win the silver, my first thought is, damn, I didn't win the gold. I came that close. If I win the bronze, I'm happy to have a medal, but it is the low-ranking medal. I'm not denigrating what they did. They should be happy. They were way happy.
He is selling celebrate appropriately. That's all he's saying. Act like you've been there before.
Getting on the medal stand is an achievement. There are teams that got very close that did not get a medal, that did not get to stand up there, that we will not remember. We will remember this team because getting a bronze, there was a drought since 2008 where this men's gymnastics team did not medal at all at the Olympics, and they finally were able to do it this year, and they were appropriately very excited to bring home hardware. I was listening to the Women's Game podcast with Sam Ewis, who was on the U.S. Women's National Team during the Tokyo Olympics. They lost the semifinal against Canada, and she said that the leadership on their soccer team told them, we know this is devastating because now we won't play in the gold medal match, but we need to win the bronze medal because going home with nothing is going to feel much worse than going home with a bronze medal and being able to stand on the podium and bring that medal home and say that you are an Olympic medalist. And so that is why competing for a bronze medal matters, because there are so many athletes that go to these games that come home with nothing.
Yep.
And they were able to stand up there on that podium, excited appropriately for how meaningful it is to bring home a medal in this Olympics for the men's gymnastics team.
And the margins in gymnastics, as somebody who's been watching since 1984, are razor thin these days. These teams and these athletes are so good. You can't make any mistakes, Greg. If you watch that, you have to nail every single performance just to get a bronze. If you fall, if you trip, if you hit the knee to the ground, you are out. And that was a heck of a performance.
I wanted to crush my dad when I first heard this take. And I'm like, you know what? I know how I'm going to get him. I'm going to look up the odds and see how low down USA was and see that they should be celebrating to get third. And then I looked at the odds. Japan and China, huge favorites. So you knew they were getting gold and silver. It's just a two-team race, basically, based off these odds for bronze between Great Britain and USA.
Oh, so we won again.
I'm just saying, to my dad's point,
we beat the Brits.
They were basically, it was a two-horse race for bronze.
You say it's a two-horse race, but I assume the Cote podcast Olympics are also a two-horse race?
That's true.
On marshmallow expectoration?
We call it marshmallow hawk twoing.
Well, I don't. But yes, it's a two-man race, so I'm not going to celebrate finish second.
Yes, but the competition, again, is not international. It is not worldwide. It's you and your son on spitting out marshmallows.
And my dad has asthma, and it was his idea to do it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
It has to be the underdog. I mean,
one of my favorite things in all of this stupid genre is the hair splitting on appropriateness of celebration, where Jessica's arguing that was an appropriate celebration and Greg Cote is arguing a little excessive.
Okay, here's a point I would make. In no other sporting event more than the Olympics are there three obvious levels of celebration: gold, silver, and bronze. That's what I'm saying. And here's an example I would use for you. In World Cup soccer, okay, they have a championship game and they have a consolation game. If you win the consolation game, you have won what is tantamount to a bronze medal. Nobody is acting like U.S. men's gymnastics when they win the consolation game of the World Cup for third place.
At the risk of alienating the audio audience, Juju, would you mind just coming in here for a second? I'd like Greg Cote to reenact what would have been the appropriate celebration after winning in gymnastics with his teammate Juju.
Congrats, Juju.
You guys won the bronze medal. I'd like for you guys to show us what that should have looked like if you indeed you found it excessive.
I feel like it's a fist bump, and that's about it. Like, you can't hug each other. Just, a couple of fist bumps. Good job. Let's go to the podium. Let's listen to Japan's national anthem.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little high five, right?
Okay. So Greg is walking up to Juju, gives a high five.
It's a bit much.
Hug, casual hug.
And then we're going like this because, all right, we're happy.
Yeah.
We're just chatting.
You disgust me.
Right.
Why do you guys even like sports? I mean, come on. Really?
I believe that Jessica leads our world in being enthusiastic about what it is she's watching because it's just amazing sports in cubes. It's like, make me care about these people in 9 minutes based on what they're wearing. Give me their story. Make me care about this in 9 minutes. And Peacock is doing a hell of a job of that.
Dan, the Olympics gets me all the time because I never get emotional leading up to it. But when I'm watching, forget it. It brings me right back to my childhood. Yesterday, about 3 p.m., I was pacing in my living room, butterflies in my stomach, nervous as all get out. The women's volleyball team was against China. That's the last two gold medal winners. They were going to a fifth set. You've got the men's gymnastics team, have to hit on every routine. And then you got the last guy, Billy Gill, with a Jack Billy Gill over there.
Steve Nedorosik, the pommel horse specialist, comes in, and it comes down to the last event. And he pommels the shit out of that horse.
The definition of you had one job. This man was being they were looking at him, they were telling him exactly how long until his event, and he had to nail it. One job, he nailed it.
The amount of pressure on these people, as somebody who can tell you, I've been in some circumstances recently just playing games with people where there's information that I know and then the pressure is ratcheted up because we're just playing a game in front of 5 people and all of a sudden my mind doesn't work as well as I know it should work. The fact that these people are competing at this level, caring this much about this, and they can't fold it up. When you're talking about the amount of expertise and the margin for error in this sport because of how good the rest of the world is, I don't envy these people being in this position, and that celebration feels like a bit of relief to me on top of everything else.
I'm more interested in your game night.
Yeah, me too.
Like, what are you doing there?
Like, you're nervous.
Charades? I mean,
I was sitting there just yesterday in front of Taylor and Thomas are putting together like a bunch of 2000 lineups.
I love this game.
Yeah, and it's like I'm looking at a 2002. I can't decide whether it's a Royals lineup or an A's lineup, and just playing in front of them, I'm more nervous than I would be if I was just doing it right by myself. And so when I know that, Stugotz, none of this ails you because you're incapable of shame.
No, it actually does. The first time we went to Lake Tahoe and we had to tee off in front of people, I was a nervous wreck.
You shanked it.
I did shank it.
I remember that.
There were like 26 people there watching us, and I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was. Yes.
This is great.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, the Dan Le Batard Show is sponsored by BetterHelp. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe you never skip leg day or therapy day. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Self-care and therapy work hand in hand to support mental health. While therapy provides professional guidance and support, self-care empowers individuals to take active steps towards their well-being outside of therapy sessions. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
Dan Le Batard.
He has been great. He's made great hires.
I said all.
We've said all.
He said all that.
We've said all.
Everyone has said everything.
First I heard any of this, Greg.
Everything you're saying,
It's all been said.
It's all been said.
Okay, you got to understand one thing.
Stugotz.
Me maximum.
That's
Until
right.
I say it, it hasn't been said.
Boom.
Okay, understand that.
You're the mayor.
Until I say it, it hasn't been said.
Me maximum.
Me maximum.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I think that we're all chokers. I think here we would find a lot of chokers if anything was ratcheted up to a fraction of the pressure that these people are facing in the elements that they're facing.
I mean, you talk about pressure and the agony of defeat and narrow defeat. I lost Olympic towel folding by 0.2 of a second to Christopher. Okay, so I've been there.
But you're going to have to trust us because my dad screwed up recording that portion of the Olympics.
Well, that's
so
true.
we don't have a clip
Greg,
of it.
if you got a $15,000 payout for finishing second in Olympic towel folding with Chris, would you have celebrated more?
If I had a payout for second place,
$15,000.
You probably would have celebrated.
no, I don't think so.
I think you would have celebrated.
Look, Stugotz and I are alone on an island here. Neither one of us is saying it isn't good for them getting a bronze medal for the first time since 2008. But it ain't gold and it ain't silver, and the way they celebrated just seemed a little over the top for me.
I think the way that Jessica looks at the two of you is what's happening in this room. I believe that Stugotz and Greg Cote, because of the amount of time they have spent around sports and in this industry, there's a bit of numbness around stuff in sports that feels good to people who really love sports. Like you guys have been eating McDonald's fries for 50 years
So
and you've
good.
been working at McDonald's for 50 years and now you hate the McDonald's fries and everyone that eats them because you don't care about this the way that Jessica's Jessica's watching this, it feels like, I'm consuming just her social media commentary. Her enthusiasm is off the charts for some of the things that she's watching because there's discovery in it and wonder and awe. And you two you're in your phone right now. You're swigging from your drink. Like you guys,
won a bronze,
you guys don't care that much about anything. You only care about how can I come over and criticize it.
It is funny, too, though. I was watching the U.S. celebrate, and then you watch China just devastated because they choked away the gold, and yet they're a spot higher than the U.S. That was a little bit weird.
You go to the Olympics to win golds, not to win silvers, not to win bronzes. You go to win a gold. That's what you go for.
Bronze was the only thing they could win, though. Now I'm back on the other side. You guys are idiots. There were 2 teams that could win gold and silver.
Right.
There was bronze.
Why do they give out the bronze medal then, Stugotz? Why do they give it out? It's 100% an expectations thing, too, because like Izzy said, China was very disappointed because they had a couple big mistakes and missed out on the gold medal barely by like less than a point. And so their expectations were, we want to win gold. We have one of the best gymnasts in the world on our team. Like, we should be winning gold in this team event. And so their expectations were to win, and they didn't do it. So they were disappointed. The U.S. expectations were, we just need to get a medal. Like, we haven't medaled in this sport in so long, and to be the first team to medal since 2008 would be huge. People will remember our names. People will remember our performances. And that's exactly what happened, and they were rightfully super excited to be up there.
All right, let's give out a 4th place medal made out of tin. Let's give out a 5th place medal. Let's give everybody a medal, okay? Here's another. Stugotz and I are the only ones with a proper perspective here on this. And here's another example I would give you. Okay, Miami Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in 23 years. If they finally win one this season, it's going to be a huge deal, and they're going to be rightfully celebrating. But it ain't the Super Bowl. Okay, you celebrate that.
How are they going to celebrate the AFC Championship win? Just a casual handshake like you and Juju?
No, they're going to be happier than winning the wild card playoff game.
Right.
But they're not going to be Super Bowl happy, and you don't
steps of happiness.
And you don't get gold happy by winning a bronze. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think the important thing to remember here is that there are brothers on this team who will make a legacy now for their family. Some people be the first person from your family to graduate high school. I was the first person in my family to go to college. So this is going to be a monumental accomplishment for those brothers on the team. Their names are going to be in the history books now. They're celebrating that as well as the journey, all the broken toes, the broken ankles that it took to get here. Right. So I understand what you're saying, but this is different than the NFL. This is for your country, and they got to represent it. I think they should take pride in not meddling. I think they should take pride in just participating.
Just being there, huh? Yeah. Greg, there is a third person who agrees with me and you. That person is Herb Brooks. If you remember, Dan, after the United States hockey team, 1980, Lake Placid, they beat the Russians. That was the semifinal game, and everyone was celebrating like we won the gold medal. Everyone except for Herb Brooks, who told his team, if we don't beat Finland, okay, in the finals, gold medal game, what we did against Russia means nothing. It means nothing.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. A couple of different questions. Is this show the world's leader in talking about the 1980s Olympics?
Yes.
And also put on the poll, should there be a 4th place medal made out of tin?
There you go. And by the way, to quote the great Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, well said.
I believe that that's the best representation of America there could possibly be. Talladega Nights and Ricky Bobby. I think that's what we're going for as a country. Just gluttonous stupidity.
I mean, I went Herb Brooks, an American legend.
To follow up on Juju's point, Greg, there was a gymnast, Paul Judah, and he continually led off in almost every event. And the pressure to lead off is tremendous because, again, every routine counts. His parents are from Poland. He's a first-generation American, and for him to win a bronze, and this country, again, hasn't won a team medal since 2008, that is a huge accomplishment. That's a life story. Those are the types of stories that you see with like slowed down music and Tom Rinaldi speaking in the background in an NFL game. Like that was incredible, his story. And did you see his TikTok dance afterward? Yes. Oh my goodness, the kid is going to be a star.
Legend.
Juju and Jessica seem to embody the spirit of the Olympics. Root for America. See if America can make you proud, but don't be cruel to the American athletes and offer them a medal made of tin if somebody screws up on the pommel horse.
Nothing wrong with tin.
What do you mean there's nothing wrong with tin?
Is there a place on the stand for tin? I mean,
or
are you off to the side a little bit?
Yeah, you're in the shadows. You're in the shadows. But tin foil is probably the most valuable utensil in my kitchen. I use tin foil for just about everything.
There is a funny randomness in this, in that we do make it the top 3 finishers, and I, for many years, since the 80s, have wondered how much it hurts to be the person who works for 4 years and finishes in 4th place by 1/100th of a second in a race. Like, what kind of haunting that is. And if we just made it so that there were a 4th medal made of maybe not the insulting tin, but something else. Bronze is pretty random. I'm not sure why we do 3 instead of 5. I'm not sure why it's accepted 3 instead of 4, but I have often wondered, you work for 4 years and you lose by 1/10 of a second? My God, that has to hurt to get back into training next week when you arrive back in the States.
I think I heard in one of the opening ceremony segments on NBC that it used to be 2 medals and then they added a 3rd medal like 100 years ago or something like that. And there were a few swimmers. There was one swimmer that finished in 4th place in Tokyo. I can't remember which swimmer it was, but she said that that was crushing to her. Like, finishing in 4th and losing out on a medal by like 100th of a second probably feels in some ways worse than finishing in like 6th or 7th and being like, all right, I wasn't good enough. But some of these races, especially in swimming, come down to like the millisecond, and it's like a race to just touch the wall quicker, and that is what keeps you off the medal stand. And I think it's insane, but just hearing athletes talk about how crushing it is to finish off the podium in 4th place and how motivating it is to try to get back and just get on the medal stand, I think speaks to how big of a deal winning a bronze or a silver is.
I watched a women's swimming event last night. I'm pretty sure it was a 100-meter breaststroke, and the top 6 finishers were all within 1 second. Mm-hmm. It was insane. Even they showed the replay. It was like watching a horse race where 6 horses are within a nose of each other. It was insane. It was the most exciting thing I've ever seen in the race, and it was just the 100-meter.
And Lily King got 4th in that.
I think so.
From the U.S., yeah.
Right.
So she should get a medal, or she should be disappointed.
Right, exactly. But if she finished 3rd, she should be celebrating like what?
Celebrating.
Okay.
Her name will be in the history books.
Okay.
Her family name will be. She just made her father as proud as she can make him.
No, not quite as proud as she could.
Right.
Not quite as proud.
You want to see Brad win a gold.
Okay. I mean, she made her father the 3rd happiest he could possibly be.
There were 2 other fathers who were happier.
Seriously.
I have 2 questions. Is tinfoil a utensil? And I'm surprised to hear that it's the most used utensil in your kitchen. For me, it's a fork.
It's not a utensil.
He called it a utensil.
I looked up the definition of utensil is broader than I thought. Yeah. I thought utensils was just basically the definition of utensil is pretty broad. It's like anything used in the kitchen.
Well, one of the brother words of utensil is utility, and little in the kitchen has more utility use than tin foil. You can wrap up. You can use it to heat stuff in the oven. You can wrap up leftover pizza, throw it in the fridge. There's all kind. You can make a beautiful hat out of tin foil. There's just a myriad of things you can do with it.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is tinfoil a utensil? I'm with Chris Cote and Stugotz on this. I believe that a utensil has to be something that you can hold in your hand that kind of has a handle, right?
Yes,
I don't think of
wax paper.
I don't think of like parchment paper as a utensil.
Just because you can make a tool out of the aluminum foil does not make it itself
or a utility, right?
Or a hat.
But by definition, does it? You keep mentioning the tinfoil hat.
He has fun with tinfoil.
I have a definition right here.
Give me some tinfoil, I'll make a hat.
Definition of tinfoil, of utensil is an implement, instrument, or vessel used in a household or especially a kitchen.
So Tupperware?
Yes, Tupperware is a utensil.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a distinction between tin and aluminum, or is that pretty much the same thing? Because I get aluminum foil.
It's a good question that you're asking there. Put it on the poll as well.
Excellent.
Are aluminum foil and tin foil synonyms? But I am thinking for some reason that this medal that Cote is making for 4th place, it's worse than aluminum. If I gave it aluminum, that'd be bad enough. But tin feels like something out of the 1800s that they were using before they invented it aluminum. Tin sounds even, and I don't even know the distinction between them, but I think tin is more insulting as a fourth metal.
It always sounds insulting. Something sounding tinny sounds insulting, right?
Not when you make it into a hat. I mean,
that's true. Then it takes on a whole new life.
Then you're the quarterback of the Jets.
And the fifth place medal would be made out of styrofoam, I guess.
I was trying to figure out who to make the joke, the tinfoil hat at whose expense. I use this because the tinfoil hat is used only to talk to the aliens, correct? That's the only thing that a tinfoil hat is used, is to represent your nuts, correct?
Or to attract a lightning strike.
Why would you be wanting to do that to your head?
No, I'm saying that would be a use for a tinfoil hat.
Mm-hmm.
For science.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
Greg, I want to put a pin in this with you. No one is arguing that it wouldn't be better to win a gold or a silver than a bronze.
Seems like you were.
No. Obviously, being the best is the best option. What we are simply saying is don't yuck their yum. They're very happy they won the bronze, and they deserved it, and it was a deserved and appropriate reaction to making history. That's all.
Based on expectations, I mean.
Based on everything. Based on the team's history, based on their individual performances and coming together and everything that they did. Very appropriately happy for the bronze medal.
We are all going to take a break now, and when we return, we will see how well Greg Cote has made a tinfoil hat.
In a world of slot reels and blackjack deals comes the must-play event of the summer from DraftKings Casino, featuring nonstop action and an all-star cast of games, including A-lister Loki's Luck. This summer's blockbuster is one you won't want to miss. Plus, new players can get $100 instantly in casino credits with just a $1 wager, and all players get a blockbuster bonus every week. Sign up with code DLS and grab your popcorn. It's showtime on DraftKings Casino.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 and over. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility and other restrictions apply. New customers only. $1 wager to earn $100 in non-withdrawable casino credits that expire in 168 hours. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/blockbuster.
Dan Le Batard. Stugotz.
Every cup game.
And what?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
It is a bit hard for me to explain to the audience, an audience I imagine that does not care about what the technical difficulties are in doing this show. It's a little hard for me to explain to the audience when I've got a number of different things crackling in my ear, and I'm not totally sure whether I'm hearing that Zoom voice tell me that something is recording because I'm actually hearing it, or because it's happening behind the scenes and didn't actually go out on air. So there are a number of times in the first 24 minutes of doing this where something was going wrong. So I wasn't able to play whack-a-mole with my two co-hosts here and get all the facts right on no. A tinfoil hat does not lure lightning. It prevents you from having lightning in your life. And Greg Cote is going to continue to try and make this tin hat. All we've learned by scouring the internet is that tin is heavier than aluminum, which suggests to me if I made a fourth place medal out of aluminum, it's more insulting than if I do it out of tin. If I'm giving you a heavier medal that is made of tin, I still don't know the difference between the two things, though. Do any of you know the difference?
No, but I was thinking maybe we just bump everything down and add a platinum medal. So first place gets platinum, because platinum's the heaviest medal, right? Like that's the most, if I want platinum jewelry, I know that shit's going to cost me, all right? And then there's gold, silver, bronze, maybe tin for fifth.
Don't forget about diamond. You should get a diamond medal too. So hey,
Can albums be aluminum? My album went aluminum. No.
You're willing to put platinum
I wish I had
and
an answer.
diamonds ahead of gold.
Well, you can move anything ahead because in the first Olympics, the winners got an olive branch and a silver medal, and then they upgraded to gold. So, yeah, we can go platinum. We can bump gold down.
Which has the higher status, the platinum Amex or the gold Amex? Platinum, right?
Platinum
by
sure.
far.
Well, but
actually,
the
black
one is
does.
better.
It should be a black.
Ooh.
Yeah. There. Yep, a black medal. Yeah.
That's very controversial.
What do you mean?
Making black better than all of the other medals, you're asking for an Olympics that is a little political.
Right on, brother. Right on.
Greg Cote is very busy trying to make what
we can hear it. It's an unmistakable sound of aluminum foil being moved around.
You can't do it silently. I mean, it's impossible.
It is impossible.
The worst, like late at night when you're trying to like get a thing of leftovers that's covered with some aluminum foil and you're trying to quietly open it so your wife doesn't hear it.
There was a half second where I'm wondering what in the world are you doing with aluminum foil at 3 in the morning?
You know what I'm doing,
I should have realized it right away. My fault.
That is the lament of a fat man shame eating in the middle of the night. You're trying to...
Everything is so loud at night.
No, you get
like
mad,
the you ever try to open a microwave door?
Right.
Every
it's so
every
loud.
kid
right?
who has ever snuck out and come back home with the munchies knows how loud it is
At
to
noon,
rustle around.
Yeah.
You don't hear it. I can open that microwave as hard as I want at noon.
My
but if it's at
ankles
1 a.m.,
crack like nobody's business at 1 in the morning.
Right.
1 p.m., silent.
Everyone can hear it. You get mad, though, at your wife because you're like, hey, how about saran wrap? I mean, can I open this thing in silence?
What's noisier? Put it on the poll, Juju, at Batard show. The 3 a.m. aluminum or the 3 a.m. opening of the bag of chips?
oh, God.
The worst.
I just don't do that anymore. 'Cause it's embarrassing when the wife just pokes her head out of the door at 3 a.m. Like, what are you doing?
It's that noisy. It's your rummage, your late night rummage. This has to do with the drinking, though, right? You have less grace late at night.
Yeah. A lot of it. It has to do with a lot, Dan. There's a lot to unpack here.
I'm a little bit of an overnight eater sometimes. I sleep in
shut
like
up.
3 or 4 hour segments. The best part about it is when you sleep next to a snorer, you don't have to worry about knowing if they're awake or not. That's snoring. That's going to be asleep. I'm good. I got at least an hour.
Oh, this is the saddest hat I've ever seen.
I love it.
Got on a damn aluminum beret.
It's not great. It's not a great look. You've spent a
Viva
lot
la
of
Greg.
time working on the aluminum hat, and as a payoff,
Just molded it to your head.
It's not. It doesn't
Okay.
look much like a hat.
No,
It
it's
doesn't
stylish.
look-
It really is.
I needed to use more tinfoil. Okay, if I have a second opportunity, it's going to be like this, but deeper and better.
Okay,
Well, you got plenty of time.
You got another crack at it.
Great,
Go
okay,
ahead, because the
sorry.
first.
Leave that
effort-
one on while you work on it.
I'm
Yeah.
not satisfied with that.
Okay.
It's a flat hat.
It's not great. Again, at the risk of alienating the audio audience, I do want to go to some video here of our dangerous streets in Miami. Many of you have seen this. I wish that I had waited until right now to show this video to Jessica so that you could have heard the cackle that we heard before the show when she learned of this video for the first time. Our streets in Miami, as I've said, very dangerous, and this is right outside the Elsor. The viral video of a man at an intersection leaving his car, and while enraged because a woman threw some sort of drinking thing at him, he runs over to where she is, jumps up in the air, and karate chops her rearview mirror on the side of her car.
It's very impressive.
And it's unbelievable. I'm trying to reach this man because it is he's like a superhero. The fact that he knows he's going to destroy that rearview mirror.
Did he know?
He
Because
must
it felt
have.
like he just jumped in the air and then decided what he was going to do then.
Oh, it's so good.
It's actually at the very beginning, you think it's, oh no, this is not good. It's a guy attacking a lady, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be bad. And then he just like decides to like atomic bomb elbow drop. Oh man, he must have hurt his wrist. Do you think he gets back in his car there and is just like, my wrist?
There's definitely a bruise. It's probably a slight fracture. And now that woman is a worse driver because she does not have a side view mirror.
I think the way that works, you get back in the car, you have the adrenaline going. You get back in the car, and like 5 to 7 seconds later, you start looking at your wrist. You're like, ow, man. You start shaking
Wait,
it.
I don't want to move away from this just yet. What I want to ask all of you, okay, is all of you, have any of you ever had the combination combination of rage and confidence to jump up in the air like Thor himself and bring down from the heavens a righteous confidence that is going to destroy a rearview mirror that you know is going to destroy it as you jump up, but you weren't sure whether you could destroy it without jumping up that way and having the full force momentum.
I don't mean to be a wet blanket, but do that to a man in the car, is my opinion. Because I don't give a damn. Like this ain't funny to me, bro. If that's my little sister in the car, and a man walking up to the car at all, bro, you're getting self-defense. As soon as you take a step towards my car, self-defense. So you do this shit to a lady, bro. That's embarrassing. I don't like this, bro. Don't have this brother on the show with me on the show because that's embarrassing. That's a lady, man. Come on, I don't give a damn about no mirror. You better watch your ass out, bro.
Juju, you're right, but I think if you roll back the video from the beginning, I think the lady threw something.
Yeah, but I don't give a damn. That's a lady.
Right.
That's a lady.
Right.
That's a lady. That's hard stop.
Well,
that's a lady.
every car a she.
Hard
really.
stop.
I don't think it matters. Like, I get what you're saying, Juju, but like, it shouldn't even matter who's in the car. Like, this is an absurd overreaction to someone throwing a styrofoam cup at you.
I wish somebody would do my girl car like that. Boy, you're getting bushed on camera, on film.
At the risk of discarding the wet blanket and still just isolating the performance after the inappropriateness of the level of the rage. Let's say this person isn't doing it to a woman, isn't doing it to anybody. He's just jumping up in the air in a way. I want to freeze frame him in the air.
It's a self-driving car, Dan.
That's right. It's a Tesla. Thank you.
Then he might be justified because those things suck.
That thing might explode. One of our self-driving cars might explode and actually win the fight. The absurdity of this reaction, since we're spending the entirety of the first hour of this show gauging whether emotions on people winning bronze medals run too high or whether they run too high here in the street. Juju, of course you are right that the reaction to that should not be that. But I will say that my wife has rarely been more disappointed in me than when she has to hold me by the chest because I want to get out of the car and do that to somebody in a South Florida.
I'd love to see you try.
Man, that would be a great video.
That increasingly, I mean, we could have that video. It's happened. I've never seen my wife more disappointed in me than not being able to hold me back by the chest as I'm going off into South Florida where someone can shoot me and get away with it. It's the height of stupidity. I deserve the disdain in her eyes. It's not something that I can control, not the way rage works.
Well, first of all, if you freeze frame that the way we did, it looks like he just won a bronze medal with the U.S. men's gymnastics team. That's what it looks like. He's celebrating. But secondly, I think road rage is probably where you feel the most embarrassed right after. Like the things that you do, the things that your wife is telling you when you are going nuts, you probably feel 5 minutes later and it's just like, God, I was so stupid. Over what? He made me flinch? Oh.
Yeah. Having a kid has kind of shown me that because I'll just sometimes forget my daughter's in the back seat and I'll just be like, oh, what the bleep or something. And she'll just be like, Daddy, what's wrong? And I'm just be like, you know what? I overreacted there. You're right. I'm sorry.
There was a guy who cut me off coming out of a parking lot. Okay, just blatant, just saw me coming and decided to just jump out right in front. Had me slam on my brakes to the point where it just like started to shake a little bit, right? And then he pulls over to make a left turn near me still, and I'm swearing on my life. I was the only one in the car, so nobody can believe me. He did a white power sign, like right by his head. I nearly lost my mind. Like, you want to talk about normal road rage? I followed this dude for 2 miles, and I stood next to him staring at him for every single light until he was man enough to turn and look at me. Never looked at me. It was a mile in, and I was already embarrassed, but I continued. And by the end, I just failed because he ran a red light, and I wasn't willing to.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You never know who you're dealing with out here in these streets, bro. You run around karate chopping cars, bro. I would have caught you midair. I'm not gonna play with you, bro. I got heat for people like you, cuz. Like you did, like you're not finna run up on a car that I'm in. Like that's 100% goofy, man. Like,
but if you do,
we should not celebrate this brother at all. Boo this man when you see him, ladies and gentlemen of the audience.
Well, just laughing. I mean, can I laugh at it? I mean,
the stubborn pride of masculinity is a special kind of stupidity to behold. And when you know you're in it, when you're in your rage and you cannot control it. Because I ate the middle finger the guy gave me. It's when he started cursing me under his breath, but loud enough for me to hear, that my wife...
It was go time?
Well, it's stupid. I'm not bragging about it. It's really dumb. It's an ignorant thing to do, and yet I couldn't control myself from doing it, even though I knew I was doing something that was ignorant. Rage bypassing ignorance consciously is a bit of a mind bleep.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest things to me to sort of let go of, and the thing that makes people that have road rage the angriest is when you just smile or laugh at them. They get so angry when you do that. It seems like it just ratchets up a little bit more.
What is going on with this hat?
How are you feeling, Greg, now? Speak into the microphone. We've lost you for 2 segments with this stupid hat idea, and I don't think we're going to get a payoff. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a payoff of any kind.
Looks a lot like the first hat so far.
No, this will properly fit my
This is
my
the new
dome.
and unimproved Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Hey there, loyal listener. As you know, in listening to this show, we've been around for almost 20 years. It's going to be 20 years in September, and a lot has changed over those years. Not just the cast, but the locations we've been doing it from. We started out in Miami Gardens, went to South Beach, and now we're in downtown Miami. A lot has changed. One thing that hasn't is the great taste of Miller Lite, and the support Miller Lite has had for this show, which I'm very fond of. Another thing that hasn't changed is that it's less filling. So what is the best thing about the original light beer? Miller Lite sparked this debate way back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it. For me, it's the undebatable quality, great taste, and only 96 calories. You don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.